Listen closely. Before a single word leaves my mouth, your mind is already preparing to run. It does this because it has spent years believing it must protect you from your own depth. But today, you and I are going to turn toward that depth together. And if you stay with me just for a few minutes, you will discover a practice so simple, so disarmingly clear, that your thoughts will quiet not through force, but through recognition. Do not look away, not yet. If your mind has been noisy lately, if your thoughts multiply like shadows in a narrow corridor, you are not broken. You are standing at the doorway of your unconscious, hearing echoes you are never taught to understand. And those echoes are invitations. Let me show you something. A man once came to me trembling. He held the edge of his coat as though the fabric could anchor him to the world. "My thoughts never stop," he whispered. "They devour me. I can't sleep. Every decision becomes 10 disasters in my head." He believed he needed control, strength, discipline. I looked at him and said, "No, your mind is speaking because you never listen." He stared at me, confused. "My mind?" he asked. "Yes," I told him, "and it has grown loud because you have grown silent." Stay with me. This is where most people retreat, but this is the moment everything begins to shift. Overthinking is not noise. It is neglect. When you resist your thoughts, they tighten their grip. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The harder you press, the more violently it erupts. And so the first step is simple. Stop pushing. Stop wrestling. Let the thought rise. Imagine you are sitting in a dim, quiet room. One chair, one light. And across from you sits your overthinking, its leg bouncing, its fingers tapping, whispering futures that terrify you. Do not run. Do not argue. Do not shrink from it. Just observe. This is the first shift. Become the observer, not the participant. Your thoughts are not you. They are visitors. They knock, they enter, they leave. But you, your awareness, remain untouched. Most people judge their thoughts instantly. They say, "This is foolish, this is frightening, this is wrong." And without realizing it, they step into the storm instead of watching it from the shore. Listen carefully. Every persistent thought carries a wound, and every wound, once seen, begins to heal. Now I want you to try something. Do not hesitate. Think of one thought that returns to you again and again, the one that loops like an unfinished sentence. Good. Bring it closer. Place it in the chair across from you. Now ask it silently. What emotion are you guarding? You may feel resistance. That is natural. Your mind often hides emotion beneath logic. But if you remain still, the truth will reveal itself. When the man in my office asked this question, he closed his eyes, his breath trembled. After a long moment, he said, "It's sorrow. I didn't know I still carried it." Of course he carried it. Most people do. The mind speaks in thoughts because the heart does not know how to speak in words. And now, before we go deeper, breathe. Let your shoulders loosen. Your body understands truths long before your intellect accepts them. Good. There is another layer beneath this, a deeper truth waiting for you. Your mind overthinks because it does not trust you. Let that settle into you, not sharply, gently. The mind only seizes control when it senses the self is absent. When you abandon your own feelings, your own boundaries, your own truth, your mind panics. It rushes forward with simulations, warnings, catastrophes, anything to fill the void of leadership. You are not drowning in thoughts. You are drowning in the absence of yourself. And to quiet the mind, you must return to that self, clearly, firmly, and compassionately. The moment you return to yourself, the mind relaxes its grip. But to reclaim your authority over your thoughts, there is a second question you must ask, one most people never dare to speak. Imagine once again that dim room. You sit in the chair, your overthinking sits across from you, restless, pacing, spinning possibilities like threads of smoke. Till now, you simply observe, but now something shifts within you. You stand, not to fight, not to flee, but to take your place as the one who decides. Your mind is powerful, but it was never meant to be your master.
It was designed to be your advisor. So ask your thought this: what do you need from me to feel safe? Do not rush the answer. Let it rise the way dawn rises over water, slowly, inevitably. Maybe the thought needs clarity. Maybe it needs honesty. Maybe it needs rest. Maybe it needs you to stop abandoning yourself in small moments every day. Overthinking is fear wearing the mask of logic, and fear, when listened to with patience, becomes guidance. The man I told you about, the one suffocating under the weight of his own mind, returned to me after 2 weeks of trying this practice. His eyes were softer, his breath steadier. He said, "For the first time in my life, my mind feels like a partner, not a predator." He had learned the second part, setting a boundary with his thoughts. Once your mind reveals what it needs, you acknowledge it. Then you say these words, quietly or aloud: "Thank you, I have heard you, and I now decide." Not the fear, not the shadow, not the echoes of old wounds. You. This sentence signals something profound to the unconscious. The adult self is present.
And when the unconscious senses leadership, it stops shouting. But we're not finished yet. There is a final piece, so essential that without it, the entire structure collapses. You must act. Not grandly, not dramatically, simply, truthfully. One small action that aligns with what your thought was protecting. Action is the language the unconscious respects most. When you move, even trembling, the mind sees that life is not being avoided. And the moment it sees movement, it quiets. The man feared failure. His thoughts dissected every choice, searching for danger. But beneath the thought was shame, and beneath the shame was the need for proof. Show me I can survive uncertainty. So he made one phone call he had avoided for months. One phone call, and the coil of overthinking loosened almost instantly. Your mind does not need you to be fearless. It needs proof that you are willing to move. Now I want you to try something. Think of one small action, just one, that says to your unconscious, "I am here, I am capable, I am no longer hiding." Hold it gently. You do not need to act yet. Knowing the action already weakens the mind's grip. And now, listen carefully. Most people do not suffer from thinking too much. They suffer from feeling too little. They avoid their heart, so the mind must fill the silence. But as you hear my voice now, notice what has already changed. Your breathing is slower. Your thoughts have shifted from a stampede to a quiet walk. Your awareness has expanded, not contracted. Good. You are meeting yourself again. Before we end, I will give you the simplest and most powerful practice of all. Tonight, sit for 2 minutes, only 2. Let one thought rise. Ask it, what feeling are you guarding? Ask it, what do you need from me? And then say, thank you. I decide. After that, take one small action aligned with the truth you discovered. Do this for 7 days. On the 8th day, you will feel something subtle but unmistakable. Your mind will no longer feel like an enemy. It will feel like a compass, because overthinking does not end when the mind becomes still. It ends when you return to yourself. Remember this before the world pulls at you again. The mind is a magnificent servant and a terrible master. Your task is not to silence it. Your task is to lead it. And now you are ready.